What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to another episode of the Curfew Boys. Before we get things started, if you like what you hear and like what you see, you can subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook and TikTok. If you like what you hear, we want to hear your honest feedback. So write a review, rate us online. Any review is good. I can't even speak, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. Let me introduce
Any
to my
any
boys.
any criticism is good criticism,
That's it. Let
I
me
guess.
introduce you to my boys tonight. We got Fireman Sam in the house.
Hey now.
We got GQ Chris.
Hey now.
You got Tired Anthony tonight
Yeah,
as your host.
I like
This was
that.
a take two, take three. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Usually we never edit, we never cut, but this time we had no choice because yeah.
It was that much of a fuck up. No, I'm kidding. Chris, you look like a CTV news anchor with that City of Montreal background.
Yeah.
Listen, got some news for you. 2 wins back to back. One of the few ones.
Oh
Let's
yes.
talk about it.
For the second time, or at least the third time this season, the Canadians go back to back. But I
Yeah.
don't know if but I don't know if they've ever gone back to back wins in regulation so far this season.
Well, look, if you think about it, yes, it's back-to-back wins, but we also got 5 points in 3 games because the game against
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, the episode after you guys did it, the game after your episode, before your episode last week.
Yeah.
Wow, fucking losing it tonight. You lost it in shootout.
Because look, in November, the Canadians won back to back. They beat Detroit in overtime, and then they beat Boston in overtime. And then later on in the month, in the West Coast, they beat Anaheim in regulation, but they beat San Jose in shootout. And I believe in October they had another back to back wins. Again, not in regulation though. They beat Washington October 21st. They beat Washington 3-2 in overtime. October 23rd, they beat Buffalo in regulation 3-1. Then also, they beat Columbus at home in overtime, and then they beat the Jets the first time this season on October 28th in shootout. So the Canadians have yet to win back-to-back games in regulation.
It's still 2 points, so technically they won back-to-back games. Okay.
At this point in the rebuild, I don't really care how they get the wins, because last episode we kind of discussed that this is the identity of the team. They're not there yet. They can't, on a consistent level, they cannot keep leads, and they cannot win games within 60 minutes on a consistent level.
That's true.
There might be a couple of games against the weaker teams that they could, Seattle, Chicago, they probably should have won that game in regulation against San Jose. But, after that win in San Jose actually became a bit of a better team. They went on a bit of a hot streak, but the Canadians aren't there yet. They're not, they're getting there, but they're not there yet.
But what they have consistent though is the will to fight back.
It's
So
insane.
the will to fight back, and that's coming from the young team, right? That young core, like they just have that drive to fight and prove to everybody what they're capable of doing and what they're capable of building. So, yes, you're right. We don't have that consistency of playing the full 60 minutes. We don't have that consistency of winning in a whole 60 regulation game, but they have that consistency of fighting back. And how many overtime games did we go in this season so far?
Well, right
All
now,
but 3.
yeah.
What?
I'm like all but 3, just about.
Well, we have
Yeah.
4 overtime losses.
Only 4, but the Canadians only have 6 regulation wins, and they're at 14 wins. So that's 8 games that they won in overtime or shootout. So
So that's 13 overtime wins, or 13 overtime games.
yeah, it's and
So pretty much almost half their games, because they played 31 so far.
yeah,
Close to half
yeah. So
has been an overtime shootout.
that's I think some fans are on the fence here to say if this team is progressing or not. I'm at least in the standings compared to last year. They are.
Yes.
There's no doubt they are better in the standings compared to last year. But how much of a better team are they if they can't win in regulation on a consistent level? I I truly believe this is part of the learning process. It's part of the growing pains.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. And it's all because of one man who I want to talk about as much as we can in this episode. Marty St. Louis, that game against the Winnipeg Jets, reached his 150 games as a head coach in the National Hockey League. And his entire record since he took the job, in 150 games, he has 59 wins, 77 losses in regulation, and 14 overtime losses.
It's not bad of a start.
It if you think about it, it's not bad for a guy who's never coached
An NHL team in his life.
or at the pro level. Like,
It's not a guy who. It's not bad for a guy who also has Alex Burrows running his special teams.
oh,
So
I'm not putting blame on Alex Burrows at all. Like, I'm done with that fucking narrative. I I I'm not saying the power play is perfect. I am curious to see if the Canadians renew Burrows' contract, because I think Burrows' contract comes up at the end of the year as assistant coach. So I'm curious to see if Marty brings him back. But for now, I don't know if you keep hearing a couple of the post game interviews that Marty's been giving lately, and how he's saying things like it's more than once where he's saying things. This is the best I've seen this team play since I've taken over. This is one of the consistent ways we've been playing, leading to the right direction since I took over the job. And after the game against Winnipeg, which we're going to get into, we're going to talk about a lot, he said, he's like, we're really engaged and we believe in what we're doing, especially as a collective whole 5-on-5. The five guys on the ice, they're locked in. Actually, those are the words he used. We're actually locked in right now, and it's a great thing. But another thing he said maybe a week ago, he goes, "We don't have those superstars, so we have to rely on the game of five together on the ice." Is that something? Is that something that's encouraging, or is that something to be a bit concerned about?
A bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a bit of both because if this team can perform and progress with what they have, and then you add in that superstar in 2-3 years, you know what I mean?
You
Like,
think we're gonna draft that
I don't
superstar?
know, but it doesn't have to be from draft. It could be from a trade or whatever. But what I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to say is that, some teams build from a superstar. Like Pittsburgh was built through Crosby and Malkin.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton is building with McDavid and Draisaitl, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
eventually build and eventually be that team. Chicago built from superstars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going the other way around because we cannot get that superstar, and it's been an issue we've been having for a long time. I feel like this team is finding that superstar within the organization by building the core, right? With these young players. So
Okay.
I think we'll get that superstar. Maybe with what we have right now, maybe someone will shine eventually,
Mm-hmm.
or we get that trade or that draft in the future. But to answer your question of what Marty said, in was that a good thing or bad thing that we have to rely on the five that we have on ice? If we can, again, build that chemistry with what we have now, we're going to be unstoppable if you add in that superstar in the future with a good core that we have built, or the good core that we're building right now. So I think I would take it as a good thing.
Okay. Chris?
um, I'm not gonna. I don't think it's cause for concern. To be 100% honest with you, I'm always gonna kind of bring it down to the same thing. Very young team, still learning how to play. Maybe some comments to hold some guys accountable, but not much more. Anthony's point, though, you said whether, maybe we have a star that comes from within. I think one of the guys who's emerging more and more is Slavkovsky. I don't think he's ever going to be. I don't ever think he's going to be like this 100-point player. But one of the takeaways that I had from the previous two games, I think it's just that he's becoming a force to be reckoned with, whether it's in the defensive zone, whether it be in the neutral zone or the offensive zone. And why do I say that? Like, I think Mark Denis did a really good job highlighting that in the middle of the game. It's a two-parter. Slavkovsky is starting to lay down the body, and when he's doing so,
That hit on Morrissey.
he fucking went flying. He went flying.
Destroyed him.
He blew up
destroyed
his
him.
stick and he sent him flying into the boards. Like, that was this Josh Morrissey is skating in a certain direction,
Mhm.
and next thing you know, it was like hitting off of like wrestling ring ropes and being
It was a
thrown.
clean hit.
into
It was
the
a
corner.
clean hit too, which
It was
was great.
yeah, it was a very clean hit. And why am I bringing all this up? I think Kent Hughes might be able to work some magic and get a star player and everything like that, but I am confident when I say I think you're going to have a lot of star players who are truly going to become star players. I
Mhm.
genuinely don't think we have any superstar players, but I feel wholeheartedly that Montreal Canadiens, this group, is going to win as a group of star players on multiple lines, which are going to deliver. And going back to the comment from Marty, it's just a
Yeah.
question of them getting their shit together, if I may use that expression. It'll come, and I don't think it stresses me out. I think the other point to that too is I think Marty has to do a good job of motivating them while at the same time not shitting on them too much. When you could get a
Oh,
little bit more out
I
of your,
think he's got the perfect balance.
I
I
think so
I
too.
I think Marty is a lesser slash a modern version of a John Tortorella. Because don't forget,
Well,
he
you love
won.
Jean
He
Tortorella.
loved he I truly think he loves and respects John Tortorella as the coach that helped them win a Stanley Cup in 2004 with Tampa Bay. I think the way John Tortorella demands effort, work ethic from his players is the exact same way that Marty demands these of these players right now. Unless we see behind the scene footage of in the dressing room, I don't know if Marty is at the level of the angry Italian losing your shit. on, don't forget, Tortorella is an Italian last name. So I don't know. Maybe that's where Torts gets his fucking when his blood boils and he starts yelling. I don't think Marty would go to that extent. Maybe that's just not the type of guy he is. But accountability, I think Marty holds that to his players game in and game out. And I think the players know it too, but I think Marty's also just and everybody says it, like Rick Bowness before the game against Winnipeg. Rick Bowness like praised Marty and the way he sees the game and how he thinks the game is very different from most people in the business, probably most coaches. So I think that's what gets the players motivated. And so far, like any player on the Canadiens that says what's it like playing for Marty, they all love it. And I'll go a step even further. I think Marty is a bit of like he's definitely a leadership figure. And to me, and we'll get to this particular player later on, but to me, it's just the way he's handled the whole Josh Anderson situation. Any other
Slavkovsky
coach,
situation. How many situations?
sure, but let's just use Josh Anderson for an example. We'll talk about him later. Any other coach, listen, we go back to either Claude Julien, we could go back to Michel Therrien. I think any other coach would probably demote him to the third line, fourth line. It's just if it's just not working for you, sorry, I'm going to give somebody else a chance that that will probably deserve it for you. I don't know if I'm saying it properly. Marty did not give up on this guy, and he said it the best. I think he said the best quote any coach could say. I'm not going to give up on you until you give up on yourself. The day you give up on yourself, I'm going to give up on you. Oh, when I heard that,
But I see that.
I had a major man crush. I mean, I always had a major man crush on Marty, but I think my pants got a little wet after that. I have no
Okay,
problem admitting it.
but look, see, look how I find Marty's very good with his words and
Mhm.
his approach on things. Because a comment like he said that you mentioned before, Sam, of how he said, we don't have any superstars, but we have to depend on the five. If you were an asshole and came across as an asshole and downgrading your players and team and people,
Mhm.
that could come off as an insulting comment to your team. And if that
Yeah,
would be my coach, like if Torts would say something like that on live TV, as a player, I'd be demotivated. I'm like, what the fuck's is wrong? Like, I have to play with a guy who just insulted me to the world. Like, fuck you, right? But I think how Marty approaches it, where he's using that as not an insulting way, he's using it as, look, we don't have a superstar, but I trust what I have in front of me, and I know that I see these players capable of
that's
becoming
true too.
something eventually.
That's true
So
too. Yeah.
hearing this as a player with a coach like that and that mindset and that approach, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna try to prove something. I'm gonna prove
Mhm.
to Marty and everybody else that he's right. Like, we're not superstars, but we will become eventually, or I'll prove to you that I will be that guy.
It
So
could be.
I think it's
Use it.
the way Marty
Uh,
approaches it, his wording, his
fuel the
perseverance,
motivation. Yeah.
how he perceives. It's just, I love him. Like you said, man crush. He's just a perfect fit for this team.
But Chris and I, we spoke about Slavkovsky. Like, what do you think of the kid so far, especially in the month of December?
He's. I'm telling you, like, everybody shot on him last year, and I can't like. He's not McDavid. He's not Crosby.
No, and
Okay,
he'll never
so
be.
he'll never be. So stop. Like, just because he's number one draft pick doesn't mean that he's gonna be a superstar game one. Give him a
Yeah.
chance. Look at Jack Hughes. The guy took him 3 seasons or four.
To
Okay,
explode
and
finally.
now
Yeah.
he's a fucking superstar. Okay, imagine him in the Montreal Canadiens at year three.
We would have lost it.
Year
Yeah.
three, everybody would have been fucking demanding a trade. To have signs at the Bell Center, trade this fucking guy, blah 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 blah. And then what happens, right? So going back to your question about Slavkovsky, give him time. We've all said it. Give him time. Give him the right environment, which is
The right exposure too, which putting me on the first line did that
and
1000%.
how many times do all of us on this podcast say it last year and now at the beginning of this season? Give this guy a chance to play. Stop putting him on the fourth. Don't put him to.
Mhm.
Just give him. We're in a rebuild. We're not planning like we're trying to make.
And that's what I think a lot of fans are forgetting. We're still in a rebuild here. Like, we're not done.
But
It's not done yet.
we're in a time where the coach and the organization needs to be a little free. Remember we had said, remember a couple of was it last year? What's the Habs identity? And we said we don't have
Mhm.
one yet. We don't know what
Yeah.
it is. We need to find it. Well,
Yep.
because we haven't found it yet, just have fun. Let these kids play. Remember, let the kids play. Play with the kids. I don't know how I said it in a dirty way.
Yeah.
Let these
Yeah.
The
kids
kids play.
play.
Let's not use the other one, and
But
let the kids play.
Sam, you said it,
Let
like
people
the right
play.
exposure, and we're giving him that exposure. We're putting him on the first line. He's building confidence with Caulfield or Suzuki and all these guys. Give this guy a chance to get that experience. And to answer your question, how he's in the month of December, finally, and Chris, you said it too. He's finally using his body, and that's been something
Mhm.
we've been saying since fucking last year. Use your fucking body. The guy did not know how to use it. Lack of experience
And lack of maturity too.
and
Like
lack of
at the
maturity.
age of 18, like he's 19 now. Imagine,
Oh, he's 19.
imagine,
Imagine at 21. Give him 2
imagine
more years.
21, 22, 23, even like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
this kid's gonna be a tank. He's gonna be
He's going the
fucking.
right. He's progressing
Oh,
the
he's
right
definitely.
direction, and I'm very happy about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
He's gonna be Ivan Drago like on the ice.
but that's it. Like, again, coming from a big person, okay? I thought I thought I was so big and so strong at 19 years old. You're doing weights and you're like, oh wow, whatever. Do you have any idea the
All right, calm
physical
down, Chris.
progression you
Okay.
make? Do you have any fucking idea the physical progression that that you make between the age of like 19 to 24, 25?
Yep.
Like he's not even scratching the surface. He
No, not
doesn't
yet.
I
Yeah.
keep saying it. He hasn't figured out what he can actually do. And I'm sorry to say, the kid is still and like again, everybody's gonna attack and say, what the hell? The kid is still growing. And when
Mhm.
I say growing, like he hasn't, as big as he is, he still hasn't filled in.
Mhm.
As heavy as he is, I guarantee you some of that is it's not pure muscle and whatever. You're still growing at that age.
And
I
can I
mean, I was still growing. I was like 6'2". I still grew another inch and a bit. At that age, you're still maturing. Your muscles are just again, you're still in a growth phase. The kid, when he figures his shit out
You're
and when he
still trying to
finally
grow, Joe.
settles
You're still
into
oh wow, I said Joe. You're still trying to grow, Chris.
That's not nice.
No, but I meant Chris. I don't know
that's
why I said Joe.
Yeah.
But sorry. No, hold on a second.
Mm.
I think KK was brought to our team at the wrong time. Because if KK would have been in last
Oh,
year's draft
oh my god!
in the
Did
environment
you
with
just open up that can of
no,
worms?
but hold on, think about it. Think about it.
Don't
You
worry, I have thought about it.
KK
Especially the
with
way.
Marty and in
Oh
this
my
kind of
god!
development that we're in, you don't think he'd be better than what he is now?
right. Okay, Anthony, it's I
Mm.
wasn't 100% done with what I was saying, but I wanted to lead into exactly what you're mentioning right now. Marty is a huge difference maker, okay? And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start by giving an example outside. John Hines, Minnesota Wild. They go back to fucking play Pittsburgh. You have Marc-Andre Fleury, who's likely playing his last game, and they don't even put Fleury in
Oh
nets to start
yeah,
up. Marty,
yeah.
okay, the difference is
That
there are
was
a lot
bad.
of these dinosaur coaches, and I will say Claude Julien, when he's fucking playing Dwight King and these piece of shit players that
Wait,
don't
King.
deserve to be
Who?
there.
But it's not his fault. Bergevin acquired those guys.
I understand he acquired those guys, but what Anthony just brought up is with Dominic Ducharme, with Claude Julien, with Michel Terrier, there was always this automatic gravitation towards favoring the veteran players just because they
Yeah,
were veteran players.
yeah.
Marty is a huge players coach. Like he cares, and that's another thing too. I think what he says on camera in front of the media, I think there's a whole completely different speech. And I think he's got the guys' respect. He's got their understanding. When Marty says, and you brought up another point too. I'm just firing off a whole bunch of different points. Marty, the thing is, Marty was a fucking superstar. Marty was scoring 100 points a season. Marty played with other superstars.
But he
They
didn't.
don't currently have any superstars. I
But
don't
he
think
didn't
it's an
start off
insult
as
when
a superstar, though. That's another
he
thing.
did not. He did not start off as a superstar.
Yeah.
Marty is just a guy who busted his ass. He was very confident. I think,
A
well,
better version of Gallagher.
develop that confidence. And to go full circle, Anthony, I do think that a player like KK would have flourished because we see just how much time, how much like Slavkovsky, even if I think all three of us were to make a decision, I think he could have gone to the minors. I think Marty was one of the few guys in the city, other than the fans who wanted to blindly support Slavkovsky. I think Marty was one of the few guys in the city who was actually willing to stand by his side and support him and say,
Yeah,
"No, no, no, I got this shit. I want this kid
we
around.
posted
I'm
about that.
developing."
We posted about it. We
Yeah,
posted that on Instagram, and it got over. It fucking. I don't know how many likes and reshares it got. But yeah, he was the only one. They
and
Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon. They listened to Marty on this one, and maybe that's maybe that sense of leadership comes from the two guys upstairs as well. They probably don't have this my way or the highway type of attitude. So
probably
it's
not.
so you know what I mean. Like and right now, like the topic is Marty, but it's just it kind of goes full circle and it reciprocates and it inspires guys. You know what I mean?
Does.
What if Slav Chris, you just made me think of something right now. Last episode, you're like, I don't know what the hell got into the guy or what happened to him. Maybe because somebody somewhere, maybe Marty, or maybe all three of them. Can you imagine all three of them were like, listen, we wanted to send you, but your coach here believes in you. We believe in your coach. We believe in you. Now go fucking play, kid. Maybe that's what woke him up. You never
I
know.
think
We
that's
never
absolute.
know.
I think that's. I'll be honest. I think that's not likelihood. I think that's a very probable that that happened. And
Mhm.
when let's say Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton, they have that little doubt. They're like, I think we should send him back. Even if it's the coach, even if it's not a conversation with all four of them, Slavkovsky included, even if it's Marty who pulls him aside and says, I believe in you. I I don't know how to tell you this. You have everything you need to succeed. You just got to go out and you got to play. You're the same player that we drafted. We drafted you number one because you were able to do this, this, and this. Don't tell me you're not able to do this because you were able to do this a year ago, a year and a half ago, and while you were growing up.
Mhm.
Go and be that same player. Stop thinking about it and go be that player. And and you say, I'm keeping you here. I stuck my neck out on the line. I want you here. I'll go do. I definitely think. I don't think it's even a question. I definitely think Marty pulled him aside and said, "I'm sticking my neck out on the line. I believe in you. Go for it, kid." And fuck, because it was like a switch. It was like an on-off switch.
It
It
was
was one
ugly.
game shit, like shit, 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 shit on switch. Best player on the team for the past month.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I want to go back like that Winnipeg game. Like he was just laying the body. He was blocking shots. I love how it just kills the doubters. Well, it doesn't kill them, but it shuts them. It shuts them up. Like nobody's saying anything anymore about send them down, send them down, send them down.
But you still
So
have the morons who are just like, "Oh, you wasted a first overall pick on a guy who
yeah,
doesn't score
yeah,
points."
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Watch this
yeah.
guy kill
Okay,
you in the
okay.
playoffs in a few years.
One player I really want to start talking about this player. We haven't spoken about him because we didn't have much reasons to talk about him except for that he couldn't fucking score. I think Josh Anderson is back, boys.
Yes, he is. And I
I
told you he
think
30
he's
needs
back.
goals,
one.
30
I said
goals,
it. He needs
Joey.
one goal. He needs one goal to open up the floodgates. And after that one goal, he's just on fucking fire.
Yeah.
He's on
Oh
fire.
my god. So I was at the game when they won against Seattle, where he scored his first goal of the season, but in an empty net from his own zone, which is still pretty impressive. And you see the footage of the players jumping on the ice. You see Cole Caulfield doing that Super Mario jump every time. Boing, boing, like it's we say that with love to Cole Caulfield, but but then he couldn't score after that. But then again, it comes down to that Marty speech. I won't give up on you if you don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
And that had to have lit a fucking fire under Josh Anderson's ass. And against the New York Islanders, he came to play. Mind you, he came. He's been coming to play every night. Just
Yeah, he just wasn't scoring, but he didn't. His progression didn't drop. Like he wasn't playing
I
really
I
bad.
I totally agree with that, and I also believe he's good with Monahan. I think we're underestimating the effect of Jake Evans on that line with him, because ever since Jake Evans went on the line with Monahan and Anderson, like they've been getting better. And it's weird. Jake Evans, we know him as like a fourth line centerman, but I think he has an assist on every Josh Anderson goal from now on, except for the power. No, never mind. Scratch that. We don't have to edit though. I think he's back. He's streaky, and I think his streak starts now. So
Hold on. Let me rephrase that.
Go, Anthony.
His gameplay is consistent, but he's streaky with goals. But his gameplay is very consistent and
yeah, he's
progressive.
streaky with goals. Exactly. And how did he score that first goal? The goal against his first goal against the Islanders. Like, hey, just the puck is there. man, head down and just fucking wired on net. And we all thought, I think everybody, including him, I think he thought it was Jake Evans' goal. Jake Evans like, no, it's your goal, buddy. And another thing too, it's Marty's there. It's like right now we're having a hard time scoring from the outside. Guys, get inside, get in the slot. You know, Caulfield's goal against the Islanders. Where was he? He was what? Not even 4 feet in front of the goalie. What did Josh Anderson do on the second goal? He fucking crashed the net.
Yeah,
he crashed the net. How did he score against Winnipeg? Lucky bounce, rebound off of him, but hey, he was literally he was centimeters next to the goalie. Like sometimes that you got to get in those dirty areas, man, and sometimes that's getting back to basics. You know, Brendan Gallagher made a career of playing that way. If he can do it, so can these guys.
Yep.
So it's great to see. I'm super happy for him. He got a beautiful ovation from the crowd at the Bell Center. He said he was emotional about it. That was awesome. Well, against Pittsburgh, when he went out on the ice to take for the shootout, like the crowd was loud. And then Gallagher got on, and for Joey, it was the loudest. I'm not making this up, boys.
No, you heard it on TV, man. Everybody was standing up.
When Gallagher got on the ice for the penalty for the shootout, the crowd exploded. It was loud. It was so loud. I'm telling you, like I almost went deaf.
But what would Joey say? Of course, Gallagher didn't score.
Of course, he doesn't. When did Gallagher's only got like maybe 3 shootout goals in his entire career?
Look,
that's me making fun of Joey.
Let's not go down the Gallagher bashing path.
No.
Just wanted to give Joey a shout out there, but you said it so well, and I think that was the first thing that I wanted to mention. Josh Anderson, a balance between what Anthony and you as well, Sammy, have said. Anthony, he's been playing the right way. He showed up every game. Even a few games ago, he had a wicked scrap. He's emotionally involved. He's doing all the right things. We mentioned it last episode. I think it was myself who said it. Josh Anderson was freaking unlucky at the beginning of the year because how many times did the goalie just reach out, make these amazing saves, not making the same save for the rest of the game, but makes the save on Anderson. Like he was truly snake bitten. I'm super happy that the floodgates kind of opened for him. He's already at 4 goals at this point in time. And I think, like you brought it up, the emotional side of things, I'm happy, at least on that front, that a lot of Montreal fans did not turn on Anderson and they continued to show that appreciation. I'm beyond happy that Marty kept that belief there. And I think it's the same principle as Safkovsky. Like, I'm not going to give up on you. Will you take that pressure off your shoulders? Just go do what I know you're capable of doing. Go do it. And he got rewarded for it. I'm so happy for the guy. And that seriously, that ovation was beautiful. It was one of the things that I think truly differentiates a lot of fans over here in Montreal from the I hate to say it, but the less knowledgeable fan bases. He just has not been rewarded for all of his hard work, and it finally came pouring through. And like you genuinely feel the happiness, even for his teammates, like standing up and going crazy and knocking on the boards. Like it was touching to see. Loved it.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys watched the Winnipeg game, do you think he made a hand pass to Dvorak on that power play goal?
100%.
Yeah,
I think like the puck did change directions, but I genuinely
replay. Oh, I don't know replay. I don't understand how like we could send fucking spaceships like 1,000 light years away from planet Earth and receive pictures of billions of galaxies away from us, billions of light years away from us. Yet we cannot, for the life of us, the NHL cannot figure out to have HD fucking footage when it comes to replays and zooming in. I don't get it.
It
maybe we
boggles my
don't.
mind.
Maybe we don't have the NASA budget. I don't
You have
know.
8K televisions and you cannot fucking
Like,
zoom in on a fucking puck at the arena. I don't get it.
like you're telling me fucking these high speed fucking cameras on the highway that can zoom in on your
To
fucking
catch your license
car
plate.
and catch your license plate, bill you for hundreds of dollars, yet we don't have cameras in the NHL that could zoom in and have a clear, non-pixelated image or footage of the puck. I don't
Listen,
know.
I hear where you come. I hear where you're coming from, but I think it's a question of time before Gary Bettman sells another portion of the NHL's soul to have like GoPros in the helmets or something like that to get a
I
first-person view.
I think that's
That's
cool
gonna
though.
come. That's gonna come one day.
It's
It
a
already
question
is.
of time.
No, but like during gameplay, I'm saying.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
it
like
exists, but
everybody across the board has cameras because they're going to capture, especially if there's going to be suspensions. So shit that's said on the ice, things that are done. I think it's a question
My
of time.
God, but that's okay. That is such a great argument. Why not use GoPro helmets as part of the officiating?
Well, they do. They have it. They had it as a thing, like a GoPro helmet,
They like
GoPro on
the
the
All
helmet.
Star. It was
like
for the
Something
All
like
sport.
Star
that.
game. It was at the All Star game. They had that.
But why not? Why not go like especially with these offside? Why not? Like the best angle you could have is the referee at ice level standing on the line and looking straight, looking fucking
You know
straight
what?
to see.
You know what? I need to I need to pause you right there and jump in. That would also hold these motherfuckers accountable. If you're looking directly at a penalty and you don't call it, then the refs can start to be penalized for their shit
Look,
refing as well.
sure. I
Sorry,
also
I just wanted to say.
no,
I know, but
and I get
I
it.
want
And
to say something to that, but it's gonna open up a whole can of worms with my
fuck it.
conspiracy.
Hold on. Let me see what I want to. I'm really curious to hear what you want to say. Some games they gotta let the boys play, especially in playoffs. Like like unless it's and I've said this many times, unless it's a boarding, unless it's a high stick to the fucking eye, like man, sometimes these cross checks, these maybe little not elbow to the face if it's blatant obvious. Sometimes these little roughing plays, like in the playoffs, you let it pass because that's the playoffs. It's rough, it's rugged. But I get what you're saying, Chris. Anthony, I really want to hear this, please.
I'm gonna get shot, but look, I'm sorry. I have to. This is my okay. I'm gonna be true to myself. I'll be honest of what I feel and what I think, and it is what it is. If you don't agree, well, too bad.
Too bad.
I had
I don't agree.
I spoke about this a bit in our group chat, a fantasy group chat, football fantasy. Let me rephrase that. But a fantasy football group chat that Joey's in, and I kind of stated my opinion on the NFL, and I got a lot of backlash.
Backlash.
Backlash. That's it. Fucking
Back,
tired today.
backslash twos. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm fucking tired. But anyways, I strongly believe that. Fuck. Look.
Don't
all
be afraid
sports-
to be afraid.
All sports, there's
Yeah.
some sort of Vegas involved in it. And what I mean by Vegas is, money involved in games and whatever. And it's been there. It's always there. It's in soccer. It's in hockey. It's in football. It's in baseball. It's everywhere. And now that Vegas is getting more and more popular and bigger and expanding in their sports and their hotels and you name it, it's only normal that a lot of money is able to be made with gambling and in Vegas. And I think there's a lot of rig stuff. So to answer your question, Sam, why can't they have GoPros? To look, we have all the answers to solve all our problems. Okay, we can easily put cameras on the boards to guarantee your offsides. But if you're gonna have this perfection in sports, then it's harder to rig them. If you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Right.
Okay. And I believe that now sports is becoming more and more obvious of how rigged it's getting. Maybe not the NHL. I don't think the NHL is there yet. I think it's happening in some shape or form, but it's not there yet.
Okay.
The NFL, it's there already. The NFL is becoming the WWE. Okay, worldwide federation. It's no more federation because it was actually fun to watch back then. Now it's entertainment. NFL is becoming
World Wrestling Entertainment. Yes.
entertainment. So
Instead
it's
of a
getting
sport.
more and more obvious of how rigged it's getting. Like before, it's easy to make a bad call and you can say the ref screwed up or he didn't see it or whatever. And it's been going on for so long, right? This year specifically, like they came out with the commercial of how the NFL is scripted in the last 2 seasons.
Never,
Yeah,
never
there was a
seen it.
so last year a player went on an actual NFL player went on a podcast
Okay.
and kind of said that the NFL is scripted, that he gets a script at the beginning of the year and they have they know who's winning the games, what games are being won, how are they going to win it, who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Did he get a script that Travis Kelce was going to fucking date what's her face? And that
See, that's another thing of entertainment.
We're going to see it all over the fucking all over our lives. And anyways, yeah.
Every time he touches the ball, you see fucking Taylor Swift at that. It makes no sense. Fucking John Bon Jovi's at every Patriots game. You don't see the fucking camera on him all the time, and he's bigger than Taylor Swift. But anyways, let's not get into that. What I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to
You're
say,
very biased right now, but yes.
What I'm trying to say is that this specific. So back to that. Like last year, an NFLer went on a podcast and said that the league is scripted. And he was serious about it. Okay. And then everybody attacked him, said, what the fuck you saying? Don't believe me, it's bullshit. And then this year, the beginning of the season, there was a commercial at the start of the season where a bunch of players were in a room with the refs and they all got a script of how the season's going to be. And they made a joke out of it. But I believe this year, like, there's a lot of games. And again, Joey, you're thinking that I'm saying this because the Patriots suck this year. They do suck. I'm not taking that away from it. I'm not denying that. They suck. They're not a good team. They're rebuilding like the Habs are. It is what it is. We had our glory for 20 years. Your team will never have 20 years of glory, so fuck off. But anyways, that being said, I'm actually being a true fan. I watch pretty much I watch every Sunday.
Yeah.
I watch minimum 5 games a week, and like I've watched them all. And I'm gonna be honest, like there's a lot of calls and plays and stuff that are being made that they're making it obvious that it's scripted. It's obvious that there's money on the line. The betters. Now you see a bunch of commercials of Bet99 and fucking FanDuel and this and that. That's all they talk about. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It's only normal that Vegas is part of a lot of shit. Now, I know I babbled here about this, but go back to my point of all your concerns about why can't we do this? We have the answers to solve the problems. You said it. GoPro cams on refs. You can catch every fucking thing, all missed calls, all missed plays, everything. Put a GoPro on a player where you can actually.
I think that's a bit much. That might be.
I know, but I'm just saying these are all answers to solve every problem we have. Why aren't they doing it? Again, the more cameras you have on the field, the less it's harder. Like it's harder to rig things. Soccer has been a rig sport for fucking centuries.
I don't even want to fucking.
There was never goal line cameras.
That's
there was
true.
never offside cameras, and there was never challenge, coach challenge or referee challenges, right?
VAR.
And how many fucking times have soccer has been rigged? Let's go back to 2004 World Cup. It was the most rigged World Cup ever. It came out. They admitted it. It was a rigged sport tournament. Why? It was easy to rig them because there's no cameras on the field. You cannot catch these things. Now, slowly, they're bringing in the cameras and all that stuff. But anyways, all this to say, you can solve all these problems easily to make the sport so fair, but they'll never do it because.
So you think it was rigged? Do you think it was rigged when Slavkovsky was skating up the ice and he was using his left hand to protect the puck and he got called for fucking roughing?
I'm not saying that was rigged.
I'm saying that was rigged because that was bullshit. That was a bullshit fucking call. I could not believe. I don't think I've ever in my life watching hockey, playing hockey, saw a penalty where the puck carrier is skating at full speed. And sometimes as kids we're taught with one hand, always two hands on the stick. But sometimes if you have to protect the puck, use your body. One hand on the stick, you're pushing, and the other arm, you're just like in football. You fucking just you stiff. I've never seen a player doing that,
Shit, sorry.
and it's all good. And what's his name? Fucking Apple Martini from Winnipeg. Fucking does the gesture like he got hit, like he got shot in the face. I've never seen that before. He gets 2 minutes for roughing. Really? That was fucking rigged. That was a stupid fucking call.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know. I'll be honest. I didn't see that play. I don't think I was watching that period. But I think right now the NHL is far from making the obvious rigness. The NFL is already there. I'm saying it out loud, and I'm a big NFL fan. NHL, it's a little harder to quote unquote rig, but I'm just saying, just going back to the point of let's find solutions to fix these issues. There is solutions. They're just not going to choose them because they need to. I feel like Vegas is very controlling, and you can see it happening. But anyways,
that was some fucking session. We went completely.
What kind of fans are going to comment to that?
I
know what Joey's going to say, but anyways,
listen. This is we got a lot of followers that are diehard NFL fans, probably like you and Joey. So it will be interesting.
But there was also another play about the hand thing. And I want to actually ask you guys, because I watched the replay and I'm on the fence on both. So in the overtime when we had a power play, was it against Winnipeg?
Oh,
it was already 4-on-3.
When Ehlers
Matheson.
Yes, Matheson got cross-checked, and it was fucking obvious. The guy was attacking him.
Dude, I did not see Matheson hold the puck, hand on the puck.
But now look, you're getting cross-checked in the back. I mean, if someone's fucking cross-checking a stick 3-4 times on my back, of course I'm gonna I don't know.
I don't know. I listen. I'm not gonna go as far as and say that he did not do it. The angle that the camera was at, it was impossible to see. Maybe the ref did see something. Whatever, fine. Okay, sure, whatever. But after that, the face-off it was in the offensive zone when Ehlers was had a bit of he was interfered by, I don't know if it was Josh Anderson or whoever, and then he goes and trips someone. He got fucking pissed off because he thought there should have been a call on interference on him. But then he ended up tripping someone, and that led to the Justin Barron game winner, and that was pretty cool. Playing against his brother, his parents were in the stands.
I like seeing that stuff.
Could Justin Barron actually be the power play quarterback that we're looking for?
Maybe.
No.
No, I don't know.
My answer is straight up no. I think he'll be fine on the second unit. I still think the guy fumbles the puck way too often at the blue line. But I will say this much. I'll take him any day. And you guys can go back to about a minute before the freaking power play even started. I hate Matheson. I said it last episode too. I hate Matheson. I don't think he's a quarterback at all. I don't think he's feeding the right guys the right passes. I don't think he's there.
Wait. You hate Matheson? You hate Matheson as a defenseman on the Canadians?
On the power play only. I love having Mike Matheson.
Rephrase that before
love him as a player.
Before the softies fuck it. They lose their shit on Twitter and try to expose us because they're tough.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have Mike Matheson as part of the team, but I really hate his use on the power play, particularly on the first wave. And right when he got the penalty, honestly, it was 4-on-3. It was going to continue to be a 4-on-3. The first thing that I wrote the group, as I said, oh, thank God, Matheson is off the power play. Who goes on? Barron goes on, gets space, has the shot, and scores. And I think, too, at the same time, one of the reasons why it opened it up is because, again, 4-on-3 is not 5-on-4. I completely understand there's a lot more room to move about. But he's already, as much as I don't think he is the power play quarterback, waiting for Lane Hudson to arrive. But I don't think he is the power play quarterback, but I already think he's better than Matheson. I don't care how well Matheson skates. I find that they just stand there like a bunch of salams
Ma-
waiting
Ma-
for the puck,
M-
and they don't do anything. They don't open up.
Matheson's good on the rush. Matheson is
He
very
is
good on the rush.
he's great on the rush, but that's it. I think another thing too that I'll say, Matheson 3-on-3 overtime, absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first defenseman that I put on, but power play, absolutely not. He doesn't command any change, any shifting on the ice that opens up holes for shots, for passes, for anything. And it's usually the puck going to Suzuki, back to Matheson, Matheson to Caulfield, back to Matheson to Suzuki, and you're there saying like, okay, they're going to shoot
I think
sometimes. 2 minutes goes by and done.
I think Justin Barron on the power play could benefit a guy like Caulfield, if anything,
Absolutely, bingo.
because the right-handed the right-handed shooter making a pass to another right-handed shooter, especially someone like Caulfield that wants to one-time it, and Matheson can't because sometimes he has to, he has to turn the body a little bit. He's got to get
Yeah,
himself in that position a little bit more than Justin Barron has to. So it's something that's gonna be interesting to see, especially against when the Canadians play against the Wild Friday night. That's something that's gonna be interesting too to see. Do you
well,
guys know when was the last time the Canadians won in Minnesota? Do you guys remember?
I would say, like, I'd say cue the gif of the old lady from Titanic. It's been 84 years. I really don't know.
Well, it was okay. It was back in 2011, and a specific defenseman got a hat trick.
PK Subban hat trick. That was it.
Do you
Holy
remember?
crap.
Do you remember who the goalie was?
2011.
Was it Devin Dubnyk?
Or nope, for Minnesota. You know who the goalie was?
Jose Theodore?
Yeah,
No.
there you go.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So last time the Canadians won was 8. I think it was 8-1 the score in Minnesota. PK Subban hat trick, 4 points, and Jose Theodore was one of the goalies for Minnesota. There was still Mike Camilleri was there. Roman Hammerlik, the real number 4. Roman Hammerlik was on the Canadians. I think Alex Ald, he's big, he's bald, he's Alex Ald, was the goaltender for that game too. So hey, the Canadians, they got a bit of a challenge ahead coming up them. I mean, Minnesota, look, it's been 84 years since the Canadians won in Minnesota. So there's that challenge, but I don't know. I'm predicting a third win back to back. Did you guys hear what Marty said too? He goes, I think a reporter asked him, do you think sometimes in your practices you might be pushing guys too much or something or not enough? He goes, no. With today's science, we have data and we could see where they're at in terms of their level of like effort throughout the practices. So apparently, I don't know if these guys are wired through some kind of heart monitoring system, but apparently they have data and they see every player what they're at in terms of how much they're pushing it at practices.
Listen.
Fucking. I heard that. My brain went. My brain literally exploded. I had no fucking idea.
Technology is actually fucking like it's crazy to see how much technology has developed in this league or in this life we live in now. It's crazy,
guys.
This is the first time I'm hearing how a Montreal Canadiens coach is using scientific data to monitor his players during practice.
Guys, Slavkovsky, aka Ivan Drago Jr. You know, in the movie where he's all patched up with all the wires and everything to record all the data for his performance. They're using the new technology. Slavkovsky brought that with him, and I guarantee you that's part of what's going
Oh
on.
no, that's not.
Rocky.
That's Scarface. That's Scarface. The Push It to the Limit song. Oh no, hearts on fire. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
that's the one. Oh
When
my
all
god.
the graphs are going
The
off, that's what's
the
going on
80s.
in Canadians fans.
No, seriously, like, I think this is hockey operations. Jeff Gordon, that's his thing. We want to bring an analytics team.
I'm telling you guys, there's a bright future ahead of us. I know we've been saying that, but the way this organization is building their team, and I don't know, there's something crazy gonna happen, and it's in a good way with this team.
It's
You
it's
know what?
patient.
I gave
Patience.
a shout out
Yeah,
to
fans. Patience.
Joey. I gave a shout out to Joey. I think it's time. It's been a little while since we've heard from Zook, but Zook, we got to give him
Oh my
credit where
god.
credit is due. Zook is feeling, and I'm in agreement with it, but this comes from Zook, free agency and trades, but particularly free agency. I think the Montreal Canadiens within the coming 2 to 3 years are going to make a big splash,
Okay,
and that's Mr. Zook.
there's lots of trade rumors going around regarding the Canadians. I don't know if
Winnipeg.
like-
No, Winnipeg is no. What did you post on our page before? Hold on.
earlier today.
I was
Yeah,
Seattle is
Seattle.
okay.
Shane Wright.
Dude, it's so funny. Our buddy Jordan sent us a DM. He's like, imagine Jake Allen for Shane Wright. I think that would be fucking hilarious.
And no one can
That
fucking
would
complain.
be-
We got our number
that
one
would
and number
be-
2 pick.
That would be if Kent Hughes could pull that shit off. He's going down as the second greatest Montreal Canadiens general manager of all time. I still think Sam Pollock is number one and always will be, not because him and I share a same first name, but he traded, I don't know who, to, I forgot which, I forgot to which team. I don't know how I could forget. First overall pick, and he selects Guy Lafleur. And even Guy Lafleur had a difficult couple of first seasons in the NHL. Just say, I'm not saying Slavkovsky is the next Guy Lafleur. Not even close. Chill, people. Calm your tits. I'm just saying sometimes a first overall pick needs time. That's all. Calm your man tits. Calm your lady tits. It takes time. Now, as far as these trade rumors are concerned, the goaltender is going to be the top amongst the trade rumor mill going on. Right now, there's a freeze. Teams cannot trade for the next two weeks or 3 weeks. They can't make any trades because of the holidays, which I think is great. I think it's a great idea.
humane.
Very. Antti Ranta got sent to the minors by Carolina. Now they signed Dell to a PTO contract. Seattle needs a goalie. New Jersey needs a goalie. New Jersey needs a defenseman too. Dougie Hamilton's on the LTIR.
We just signed another minor league goaltender. Just
yeah,
FYI.
but that's a minor league tryout. It has nothing to do with the Canadians, and that's mainly to help out the Laval Rocket more than anything. He's not under the Montreal Canadiens contract. Laval Rocket that are playing right now as we speak, tied 2-2 at the end of the second period. But that's also because there's no way Primo's going down. Okay,
maybe 2 goalies are getting traded out of Montreal.
No. There's no fucking dude. There's no goalie in Laval right now that's ready to step foot on NHL ice surface. There's none.
I think it's
Jakob-
Allen that's gone.
I think it's Allen gone too. The way he played against Winnipeg the other night, he played well. He played great. I think Allen is the guy to go, man.
He is.
I could see him playing in Carolina. I really could. And I could see him.
You get
I could see
KK
him-
back.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Something to fucking screw over the Hurricanes GM, Kakalainen, whatever his fucking name is, that bastard. I don't even know if he's still GM, but dude, with a bunch of surplus defensemen too. Now there's rumors that Matthias Norlinder might get traded. So Ant, are you okay with Arbor Jacki being in Laval?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I mean, sorry,
It's all good.
I thought I was on
You
mute
mean
still.
what? You mean what? There are a lot of Montrealers who are waiting for this answer, Anthony. Let's hear it.
Oh, there's a lot of yeah.
I'm on the fence, right? Because me saying yes contradicts what I said earlier in the episode, where let these kids play. Hold on.
Mhm.
I'm trying to close this. I don't know why I cannot close my
That's all good.
WhatsApp on my. Okay, I think it's closed.
Pornhub?
Yeah, kind of.
Porn
There
up notification. So and so is on live.
So it contradicts what I said earlier about let the kids play.
Yeah.
And I think Jacki, having some more ice time in the NHL level, would be beneficial. But I don't think he's a player we need right now on the team. So put him on in Laval to just get more experience and more ice time, because I don't think playing with the Montreal Canadiens will give him enough ice time to develop. So that's why I'm saying he's not a player we need at the moment. I think again, you said it before, we need to try to find our identity. Are we that team to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I think the Canadians can play that in your face type of hockey.
I think that one day I really want. I want to be. I want to be eventually one day the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Like that talented in your face team
That intimidates you.
that intimidates you. And Jacki will be a player to intimidate, but I think he's still not mature enough yet to be at. I think he just needs to develop a little bit more. And
He's still a rookie, so like it's
but that's why. And that's why I say if Montreal is fighting for playoffs and getting closer to that, towards March, and they're fighting for a spot, that's when you bring him back. So
yeah.
give him that experience now, and then when
I like
time
that.
to-
I like that point. Now, I'm so happy you mentioned that because Canadians they're 3 points out of a final wild card spot. And because of that, with all these trade rumors going around about maybe Allen's going,
we still
maybe a
have to fight.
defenseman, I still think they are not abandoning the plan. I don't think they're going to make these trades to help improve this team to one, try to make the playoffs. And if they do make it, to two, try to get as far as they can in the playoffs. I truly believe if the Canadians some way, somehow fucking make it, they're going to go with the team they have, hope for the best. Because at the end of the day, I don't think this team is playoff ready. They could go on a streak where they make it. It could happen. Anything could happen. But even if they get there, I don't think they're good enough to go far. Then again, I say this: anything can happen in the playoffs. I'm just going with my gut feel here and seeing how young this team is compared to the team we saw last time they went to the playoffs. They're not the same team. They're still too young. Anything could happen. I don't think Kent Hughes will make any trades to help improve this team, to help make the playoffs, and to see if they could go far in the playoffs. They are not abandoning their plan about rebuilding.
So that being said, and this is coming from me, a guy who's very optimistic and always says, "Oh, if they make the playoffs, anything can happen, and we can still win." And I'll tell you right now, it ain't gonna happen if we make the playoffs. Like we're not gonna see this team in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I agree with that point, Sam. Like I really hope they stick to the plan. And even though we're in that fight for the playoffs still, and it's still early, we're only in the month of December going into January. We still have a lot of hockey left before we can talk about playoffs. I don't see any drastic moves being made
Exactly.
or short term. We're done with the short term moves.
Oh man, 1,000%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This team, if there's any trades coming in, which we know they will, we
I
can
think
have three goalies.
I think one of the goalies trade is inevitable this year.
100%. But these trades are not for the short term goal; it's for the future.
Yeah,
Any
exactly.
trade that happens
I
or
agree
any
with that.
moves that are going to happen in the next coming weeks or months will determine the long term goal, not the short term. Even if we're in playoff position or fighting for position, even free agency, trade deadline.
Mhm.
Let's say we're in that position of in playoffs or fighting for it. there won't be any big moves that
I
during
don't
that
think
time.
I don't think they'll be buyers. Yeah, I agree with that.
So to your point, Anthony, I'm so happy that you went down that line and you wrote and said the trade deadline. Two things: if the Montreal Canadiens, this is my opinion, if the Montreal Canadiens are going to make a move this year, it's purely going to be to open up roster spots for the guys that they foresee being the future of the Montreal Canadiens. So to be able to bring Jack Eye back in the lineup, to be able to have
Mhm.
that sort of space, and number two, the trade deadline point. I think if the goalie market continues to go this way, Jake Allen's value is only going to go up. So it's maybe in the Montreal Canadiens' best interest to hold off and wait as long as possible. Obviously, it's a fine line. You have to pick your timing right.
I put
All
out the
goalies are
next
injured
5
right
games.
now, and yeah, if all goalies are injured now, and there's a demand for goalies right now, well then you can't miss that opportunity. But at the same time, I could damn well see a bidding war for a guy like Jake Allen if certain teams are ready to go into the
You
playoffs.
but you
I
want
it,
that
So
bidding war? You want that bidding war?
it's gonna
And
happen
we
before.
need to see him play more.
It's gonna happen before the deadline, though. I get a strong feeling the
I
Canadians,
think
if
so
they're gonna
too.
make trades, it's gonna be before the deadline.
It
I
has
think.
to the
I
goalie
think
trade
by.
has to be done before deadline because all like you just said it, Chris and Sam
Mhm.
before, with all these injuries in the league and the high demand for goalies, they're not going to wait for a trade deadline.
No,
People
no,
are
no.
still,
They don't. They won't. It's.
January is very
I
key
believe
to
that.
make playoff. January is a very strong month for. Look at St. Louis years
Yeah,
back.
St.
January
Louis,
was the month.
St. Louis,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Which of the LA Kings when they won the cup in January? A lot of them thought they were out, and
Yeah,
yeah, I agree with that. I really, really, really do. So
I, f-
that's
I,
gonna
th-
be
I,
interesting
th-
to see.
but
I said a word before, humane, but I genuinely think that in general, you have your family, everybody's settled, you want to have Christmas, you want to have some normality. I think it sounds ridiculous, but I think there's just a mutual respect. Like, okay, guys, don't worry, you won't be packing your bags. You're not going to be moving from city from your country in the middle of the Christmas holidays.
Mhm.
Just do your thing. And to that point, again, as ridiculous as it sounds, as soon as the holidays are over, I think the trade market is just gonna
you want to hear my scenario,
blow
Joey?
up. Joey,
Joey, there's
Yeah,
5
he's
games left
talking to
before
Joe.
the.
He's not talking to me and you, Chris.
There's 5 games left. It's a scenario. It's a scenario. There's 5 games left before the new year and right before the opening of the trading again. If Allen plays 3 out of 5, it's a sign that, I mean, if I was the coach and I
Mhm.
know that we need to trade this guy, I'd play him 3 out of 5 this in the next
Well,
5 games.
Montembeau's confirmed for Minnesota. So they're on a 7-game road trip right now. Allen played 1 out of 7, so he's
He needs
got
to play
five. He's
three
got
more
five
games
games
because
left.
you need to
Okay.
again, unless they know that, because right now there's a freeze, right?
Mhm.
So maybe the trade is done. Maybe a team already is interested and they know he's gonna
It
get
could
him.
it could be
So
two, huh? It
so
could be
maybe
that too.
bench him to rest him and not get injured. That's another thing. Maybe you see less of him in the next 5 games or more of him to build more value. It all depends. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So this freeze could either aid, they already have a trade in place and they're benching him to rest him so we don't have to injure him. Or there's
Yeah.
still no bidding war. Let's play him more to add more value. I mean, it's okay. Screw my scenario.
Well, look, geez, I mean, look, Minnesota on Friday. Excuse me, no, Minnesota on Thursday, Chicago on Friday. So I personally think it's Montembeau confirmed on against Minnesota. I would put Primo against Chicago, and then they come back on the 28th, Thursday the 28th, a week later against Carolina. I put Allen there because that's the team I would try to target the most. I don't know why. I just think we could get something. I think we could get a first round pick for Carolina, maybe a prospect as part of the long term plan, like Anthony mentioned. I would put Allen there, and then you split between the Florida teams. You got the Panthers on the 30th. You got Tampa Bay on the 31st, and then to open up January, you have January 2nd, the Dallas Stars. So I truly think it's gonna for these 7 games, 3 games Allen, 3 games Montembeau, 1 game Primo. That's my prediction.
Anything can
and
happen.
anything could happen, man. So this is my actually favorite time of the year. The World Juniors are coming up, and every year I get excited. And there's 4 Montreal Canadiens prospects heading there just to close out the episode. So you obviously have Owen Beck, who actually made the team straight out of their camp. He wasn't a final cut and then a call up because, ironically enough, Kirby Doc's brother Colton Doc got injured. So Owen Beck is representing Canada. 2 prospects representing the United States of America, Lane Hudson and Jacob Fowler. And that's going to be interesting to see because the battle of the goaltenders for the Americans between Jacob Fowler and Trey Augustine, I get a gut feeling, and we all saw the video of the scouts in the room, the war room, debating about which goalie to take. And the head scout, Billy something, I forgot his last name, Billy was so
Adamant.
he's so adamant and convincing about Fowler. I think the other goalie they were debating about was this Trey Augustine goalie. So this, and again, this is my feeling. This is my gut feeling. There's no confirmation. I'm just going with gut feel here. But if it really is the case, like this is something interesting to see of like these goaltenders kind of like duking it out for the number 1 spot for the Americans. And like Jacob Fowler's got a great attitude. He's like, I love Trey. We're roommates. I respect him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be interesting to see. And I honestly think the Americans have a very, very good chance. I'm wondering if we'll see a Canada versus U.S. finals. And you have Philip Massar, who's representing Slovakia. And I think there's a good chance he gets to be the team captain, which is always great to see. We had Jan Misak, who represented Czechia twice when he went to the World Juniors. If we see Philip Massar, who's having an outstanding year in juniors, if he gets the captaincy for Team Slovakia, I think that's great. Lane Hudson is the alternate captain for Team USA, which is
Can't
great.
wait to see him.
I'm going to be watching all. I mean, those are the 3 teams I'm going to watch mostly. I'm going to definitely watch Canada. Duh. I'm going to watch the American games, and I'm going to definitely watch the Slovakia games. I really want to. If this is Philip Massar's year to shine, and he needs to be their best player, and that's something that could help in his development as well.
Yeah.
And we won't see any Connor Bedard highlights deking the shit out of everybody in overtime to score that game winner. But
You'll see Lane Hudson do it.
Dude, we just might, man. We just might. So, Anthony, where are you off to end the new year, to start the new year, to end off the year 2020?
Well, so I was gonna end it off by saying this is my last episode for 2023. So I was gonna wish all our fans a happy holidays and happy New Year. But I'm heading to Florida again next week. So
Nice.
I leave the day after Christmas and I come back mid-January.
Okay.
Looking forward to that break.
Do you have any favorite moments from 2023 of either the Canadians or hockey or football, maybe? The NFL? Any favorite rigged moments in the NFL of 2023?
I don't have a favorite rigged fucking moment, let me tell you. I was a yard away of winning $2,000. If you want to talk about gambling.
Oh my God! Oh, so that's how it all makes sense. It's because you lost money. You lost.
It's one of the reasons why I think it's all rigged. But anyway.
Oh my God! So I'll put a thing. Wait till the end to hear Anthony's reasons why he believes the NFL is rigged.
Well, look, I mean, anyways, we'll not get into it. But anyways.
Okay. Yeah. Any favorite moments, real quick? That you could think of off the top of your head?
And for hockey, for the Habs, I mean,
anything at this point.
You put me on the spot, man. You put me on the spot. We're supposed to prep this pre-episode, man.
I should have prepped you, but now we get raw, honest answers. Not even the live David Reinbacher episode.
The what?
The when we did the draft episode live for David Reinbacher, that was.
I mean, that was a fun episode. You know what? One of my favorite podcast moments is when I surprised you guys on the episode while driving, and I made it seem like I was a guest.
Yeah, that was funny. Okay,
that would be my favorite podcast memory. Habs
awesome.
memory. I'm enjoying what I'm witnessing this season.
Yeah.
We didn't expect what we saw. Oh, let's go back to the beginning of this episode 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You had said this is growing pains for this team.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is considered growing pains, I'm fucking happy because but we all said
Fair point.
that we want this team to develop. We don't care if they lose as long as they lose with fight, with like that drive to win
Mhm.
or whatever.
Mhm.
And they're doing that. Like we're not
Yeah.
seeing blowouts. We're not seeing a
No,
team that
except
shit.
Yeah, except for the Kings twice. That's it.
Like what happened last year? Last year, mid-season, I just didn't want to watch or was the season before, whatever. I just didn't want to watch the team anymore. It was boring. It was just I couldn't watch it. It was disgusting. And now, win or lose, playoffs or not, I said at the beginning, episode 1, I said I just want to watch this season and enjoy their play
Yeah.
and development. And I've been, to answer your question, the memory of this year is just this. I'm just loving what I'm seeing the first half of the season. And I'm
Yep.
looking forward to the second half because I believe the second half will be even better because we're still in the fight for the playoffs in January, which we didn't have that feeling last year.
Yeah.
There's still a trade coming, which I'm very curious to know what this trade's going to be.
Yeah.
And the future is bright. And I'm just looking forward to it.
I think Marty's gonna inspire them to make that push.
Marty is not a quitter.
And I'm gonna end it on that. Yeah.
Marty's not a quitter. This organization is not a quitter. We're not going to tank anymore. That word tank is no longer in existence in this fucking organization.
Exactly. That is true too.
And we're going to fight till the end. We said it. We're predicting either making the playoffs or not making it and finishing 9th or 10th, like right at the fucking tip. That's what's going to happen. All right. On that note, to all my listeners,
that was a perfect ending.
To all our listeners out there, from Anxious Anthony, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to your families, a healthy end of year and a healthy beginning of 2024 and a great 2024.
Yeah.
And to you guys, I know we're going to talk on our chats
for
the
sure.
next couple of days, but I'm looking forward to 2024 for the Curfew Boys.
Yep.
A lot coming. Sorry to announce this at the end of this episode, but we'll announce it on Instagram. We may be postponing the fundraiser one more time, and I promise you this will be the last time we do it, but details will be shared later on.
Mhm.
And to all our listeners out there, if you love what you hear, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe on our YouTube channel to see our beautiful faces. Write an honest review. We want to hear your feedback. That's the only way it'll make us better. Chris, Sam,
Anthony, enjoy.
Joey.
Joey. Well, we might be back for one more episode before the end of the year, but Anthony, have fun. Merry Christmas to you and yours. We will chat again soon. Absolutely. Thanks for being on one more time in 2023.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye now.
Get